United States Marine Corps, baby.
I just like my second day. Like I'm active duty, so I just came up just for the veterans. They called out the veterans, so I'm up here. Been to Iraq twice, Afghanistan once. I'm a chief warrant officer, paratrooper, cavalryman. I can't say a military point of view, but this is where I'm from. This is my family out here. This is what I love. I love where I'm from.
We really were hearing that the veterans were planning to do direct action and quite possibly try to march across the bridge, through the line, and all the way to the drilling site. Unarmed, and so that would just mean that people were going to be shot with rubber bullets and beat, and pretty brutal. And so that's what we woke up to, thinking we would see Sunday morning. They announced that no, the tribal elders had decided that they would prefer veterans to support them in the way of helping beef up camp, help winterize camp, be in more of a support role, and just sort of a witness to this ceremony of prayer, and less of a protest role. And so suddenly the mission shifted, which actually was challenging for several of the veterans. I talked to a couple veterans who that actually triggered memories of being deployed in Iraq, and where they felt missions kept shifting and objectives were unclear. And I even heard someone talk about feeling betrayed around Mosul. And so it had a lot of people who came for various reasons who were suddenly quite confused. And later that day is when the announcement was made that the Army Corps of Engineers had denied the permit, and so once again the mission was shifting. It was like, so do we continue to build these structures that we're helping to build, or is this camp going to be uprooting soon? And so we got the sense pretty quickly that there was a lot of anxiety and tension within the various camps within the veterans. And so the chaplains spread out and kind of just started hanging out at various fires and just in groups with veterans, hearing their stories. Unfortunately today, that anxiety is back up. There's a sense of how real are these orders to deny the permit? How long will they last? Are they just saying this so that veterans will leave and then something will come back?
And I'm a Navy veteran, Bronze Star, and I fought for my country and I did whatever they told me, but now that I don't get a paycheck, I'm still fighting for my country now.
Corrupted that we should never leave the legislature at liberty to change them. The new Constitution has secured these in the executive and legislative department, but not in the judiciary. We must conduct established trials by the people themselves, that is to say, by jury. There are instruments so dangerous to the birthrights of our nation, and which place them so totally at the mercy of their governors, that those governors, whether legislative or executive, should be restrained from keeping such instruments on foot. Such an instrument is a standing army. Thomas Jefferson.
We were down at the bridge. I found one guy that talked about he's looking across and he sees the Humvees, and just it was memories of his deployment. when he would be in Humvees looking at civilians of whatever nation he was in at that time, and just kind of realized what it must have felt for those people looking at him, and he could see himself looking back.
I'm a 68 Whiskey, which is a combat medic. I went in 2006, and I got out on medical discharge in 2010. This is Puma, R442, that's a serial number. And he's a retired military working dog that I adopted about 5 months ago. I wanted to bring him because we had gotten a ops order that we were to bring no drugs or weapons or anything like that here to Standing Rock. And well, I wanted to make sure that all the veterans are doing the right thing. So I would bring him, and I just wanted him to go around the camp, around the veterans, because I'm going to tell you, it was really hard to leave my weapons at home. Okay? Especially thinking that it might be dangerous. And I'm sure that's crossed a lot of veterans' minds, because we're weapons trained. So I says, okay, just in case somebody might be tempted to bring their weapons anyway, I would bring him as a deterrent. So we set up about a half a mile from the bear cave, and as all the veterans were going up to the front line, he was checking to make sure nobody had weapons.
In terms of what brought me out here, I mean, it's a whole bunch of circumstances. What's going on bothered me for a long time, and I had the circumstances were available for me to kind of head out, so I did. And I think that's pretty much the story of everybody else out here, There's plenty of other people. I've get messages now because I set up the New England Veterans page that they want to go, but they're just a little late. They have this going on. They want to make it in future things. But yeah, I mean, this is, I think, a lot bigger thing than the 3,000 or whatever the number is of people that showed up.
I'm from Six Nations, Ontario, Canada, Mohawk. Originally came out here because they called for all veterans to come out here, and I think the breaking point was when with the water hoses and stuff like that, and the lady's arm who got amputated and injured from that blast. It kind of struck a lot of people at heart, and those type of things shouldn't happen to people who are trying to defend, especially sacred land. It shouldn't have happened. So it struck a lot of people, and not to mention there's Native American tribal land at stake. So that was really important to come here and protect people. Our people have been, oppressed for so long. So it's really time. It's time for people. It's time for Native Americans to stand up for themselves and for what we believe in. It's that time. It's that time.
And I find it disgusting what these police are doing to these civilians. And they're lying about it. But we all swore oaths to protect, But now these are our relatives too. But done crying, I don't have any tears left. It's just these elders and these children, and this is something that all of our children will remember. That why we came here. We want them to honor our treaties. Most importantly, we just want life. We just want to exist, man. We've been pushed around and, running the ground, and some had it worse than others, but it's not, democracy does not reign here. I'm a Ojibwe. A lot of Ojibwe veterans, a lot of veterans as a whole across the nation that are Native vets. Seen them in there tonight, you know, just a small fraction, you know, but you feel that in your heart. You feel that in your heart. And it's you dance to celebrate life. And that's why we do that. You know, we're trying to honor that, you know. You know, we were coming down here, we were getting flipped off, and you know, that's all right, you know. Stop your car, come here. Maybe I would have hugged him. But anyway, this is epic. This has to happen, you know. Through all our histories together, they have to kill us.
I think it really says a lot about our society as a whole, and that we believe that we have some type of morality. But I think we need to stare that straight in the eye. I think we really need to look at who we are as people all around the world and about what we have as far as morality. Me, as being in the Army, we had 7 values, one of which was integrity. Integrity is why I'm here today, right? Integrity, as defined with the military, was doing the right thing even when no one's watching, all right? Doing the right thing is standing up for people who can't fight for themselves, all right? Water is life. What a simple message. What an incredibly simple message. How can that not be true?
Our ancestors stand with us, fighting the black snake. Many we Tony, water is life. Way-ah, way-ah.